Welcome to Activated and Loving Life. This is our YouTube channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe so that you can be notified with all of the awesome stuff that we're going to have on here. And please click the thumbs up so that we can see that we're doing what we're needing to help people help themselves. So today I have the privilege of interviewing a lady named Cary. Cary has been an activator for 7 years. 7 years. And we have become awesome friends within the family of LifeVantage. She's actually what we would consider my upline and fellow activator, educator. She just believes in life so beautifully. She helps so many people. She fortunately gets to live on the beautiful island of Kauai. So, Cary, how are you today?
Wonderful, thank you. I can't complain. It's been a good Monday so far. Started off with some yoga. I love to do that.
Awesome. So, from your personal perspective, what is activating to you, Cary?
Oh my gosh, activating to me means so much after being here for 7 years. I would love to, I think it's connecting. It's not just one thing. I don't think that LifeVantage is one thing. I think that being activated means so many things. It's internal, it's outside. That's a good question. Activated to me is working on the inside, on the outside, the heart space, and just sharing that with people. I think that's really important.
And so, would you love to tell us your journey of how you began what we term nutrigenomics or biohacking? What was your journey? How did it begin?
Yeah, so 7 years ago, I was in this space where I was just working. And I was lucky enough to be connected with a girlfriend. Well, she wasn't a girlfriend yet, but she was a friend of a friend that needed help cleaning her vacation rentals at her house. She had bed and breakfasts at her house. And so I started working with this gal named Jai, and she was in her 60s. I think she was 64 at the time when I met her. And she had this huge, beautiful property that she grew flowers on, she gardened on, and she had two bed and breakfasts attached to her place. And so that was her livelihood. And she would have me there probably two, maybe sometimes 3 times a week, sometimes twice a month. So I got to see her pretty regularly. Besides that, we became friends and we would stay connected. So anyhow, I'll try to make this quick, but she started taking this product that her daughter had introduced her to because she had some debilitating issues with her life, and she was taking steroids and different pharmaceuticals that were to combat these issues. Well, she's real natural. She's the kind that had the coconut tree right outside, and she would hack the coconut tree and drink the coconut milk, water every day. And so her daughter knew that if this product would help her, it would help her to be able to maybe relieve some of these pharmaceuticals and the chemicals. And so she started taking it. She told me that she was going to start taking this product, and I was like, go for it. Good for you. But little did I know, at the same time, I had my daughter that was debilitated with some serious issues herself. She was 16, and I didn't know, but I needed that for my daughter. But I continued to watch my friend for 2 months, just taking this pill every day. I forgot about it. I just watched her transform in front of my eyes. I started to see her limp get better. I started to see her mood get better. She wasn't calling me to not come and work with her. To not come to work with her because she wasn't feeling well. That stopped. And I was like, hey, I was confiding in with her what was happening with my daughter. And I wondered if these products would help my daughter. And she just said, you know, I don't know why not. Like, these are just herbs. So let's give it a whirl. So I started taking the product so that nothing would happen to me. Like, I was like, didn't know anything about herbs, you know, at the time. I had to be educated about it. So I started taking it. I started sleeping really good. My husband started taking it. He started sleeping really good. But we forgot about my daughter because she was in the line of pharmaceuticals now at this time. And we were waiting for them to assimilate in her body and to work, forgetting that I had started these products for her. So got her on the products, weaned her off of the pharmaceuticals that she was on, and literally within 2 weeks, she started to feel better. Like, I saw the sun come back out in my daughter's eyes, like, boom, here comes my kid again, you know? So that's the beginning story of where I started with these products. I didn't know anything about activation, and kind of neither did any of us here because we were all learning and it was still pretty new. And so I just jumped on with my friend, and I just trusted her with, you know, these herbs, and started seeing miraculous things happening in people, especially with my own family. So that's in a nutshell the beginning.
That's fantastic. And for anyone out there that is starting to do your research or has been doing some research, you'll realize that Protandim originally was just NRF2, which is the flagship product. And it originally was on a bunch of health food store shelves, but shelves don't talk. And because it had to be regulated with a word called supplement, people didn't realize it's actually an activator and what's the difference. And so as it started becoming very popular, especially after a certain ABC News report that happened and they were trying to debunk this product, the actual reporter is a lifelong member now because of what he saw when he had blood results done that actually reduced his oxidative stress in less than 30 days. But we are legally allowed to say it reduces oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. So Cary was able to get on when there was just really the Nerf 2 product out there. And LifeVantage took over in this company and started creating it into a multi-level marketing platform, only because the amount of research, the amount of product knowledge that needs to be explained for people to really understand what these products do and how they work and how they interact and actually upscale your cells, get in that secret handshake into the cells so that your cells miraculously know what to do when all that hijacking is out of the way. So give us a timeline within the 7 years, Cary, of where you started, and it was just with the NRF2 Protandim, and then as you watched and when you decided to become a rep for the company, and as everything started launching, the hype that you must have gotten to be involved in and the amount of knowledge and people that were just around all these brand new breakthroughs in this company.
Yeah, wow, I'm so glad you asked because I forget about that. You know, I've been here for 7 years, and it's been so exciting. Like, yes, I was here at the beginning when we had one bottle. We still have the one for the pet. We had one bottle of cream. That was it, you know? And so I believe what happened was, from the beginning. So back to my friend Jai. So she was taking the products for a couple of months. I started taking the products. So it was like a 4 month period now, I believe, maybe not even that far from beginning till where I started with it. I started to see her like really changing. Her skin was really changing. People were asking her, what is she using? And she with me and said, I want you to do this business with me. And I was like, business? What you mean? So she needed to educate me on the products at first. She needed to educate me about the business, which she had help. There were people that came from the mainland. We call it the mainland. They came from Arizona, had a little meeting. And, you know, I didn't really need to know too much at the beginning. I trusted my friend. We were already feeling better. My daughter was feeling better. And I jumped in with the business with her, not even knowing what it entailed. And I just trusted her, and we started a business. And so I believe it was almost a year later they came out with the full skincare line because Louisiana State University now was testing our NRF2 bottle on tumors, and they recognized that this helped reduce melanoma and tumor sizes. And so they said, you should put this in your skincare. So they put it in a skincare line, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be game changing, because my friend Jai had been in the sun forever and ever and like sailing, and she just loved the beach. And so I was really excited to see what was going to happen with her skin. Really changed her skin. Like, it's so great to be able to see it on another person. So we got our skincare line, and then I believe a year later, I'm just trying to remember, we got, I believe, our probiotic, which I was waiting for because I knew I needed something for my gut. I always had issues with my gut, and I knew I needed the balance. So our company came out with the probiotic, which is like no other. Started taking that, of course, and then they rolled in with the NRF1, which is for our mitochondria now. And mind you, we have all these people that were just, when we got new products, we were introducing them to the new ones, and they jumped on, and we just started seeing better and better results. And so the excitement just has not stopped. Like, our company turning into a full nutrigenomics line has just been so exciting the whole time. With LifeVantage has been the next step up. Just like, then we got our NAD, which is a game changer for people. It's like going in and cleaning up the frayed wires of our DNA. What? you know, I remember too, I want to give you a little tip. Like, when Hannah was sick with not being able to sleep, not being able to think properly, she wasn't making her own serotonin. The naturopath here recommended NAD, and it didn't work. She took it for 4 months, and it didn't work. It never did. And when we were able to get her in with the activation of the NRF2 pathway, that helped. But then, so the activators with us is what's wonderful. But so the 7 years, like, oh, and then we came with Axio. I can't forget my favorite Axio. Okay, what I'm learning about Axio lately, and what people are talking about, that is basically bringing oxygen to our brains. And I don't think we give enough credit to our brain or our heart. Like, hello. So giving more oxygen to our brain is huge. And just by being able to drink it, it's so convenient. It's easily available. So exciting. So for the 7 years that I've been here and learning about our nutrigenomics, I mean, it's been wonderful. Hope that helps. Hope that answers your question. I could keep kind of going on, but for the 7 years, that's where my nutrigenomics journey has been. And we take all the products, all the shampoo. We have shampoo products too with NRF2 in it. Skincare is phenomenal. And I know I heard you and Jillian talk about how I've been, here for 7 years with activation and looking kind of the same, because I think we're reversing the aging, which is,
Well, I think the greatest thing I say to people is, because they say, well, how long do you need to activate for? Well, how long are you breathing oxygen for? So oxidative stress doesn't go away. We don't stop breathing. So as long as you are breathing, you're going to need to activate in these times, especially because of the amount of hijacking. What I love about our NRF1 product and the Axio, especially right now, is because it is brain food. And oxygen is so important to the brain, not only for function, but because our first and second brains need to work and correspond with each other. And so we know the importance of our second brain and why probio and prebiotics are so important, because if we don't have a healthy second brain, which is our digestive system, then it sends false messages to the brain. Now, what I deal with the hypnotherapy practice that I have, many people that come with depression or anxiousness or nervousness or undecisiveness, feelings of feeling trapped or not being able to move forward, especially with what's been going on in the chaotic outside world, is the NRF1 product having that quercetin in it. Quercetin is such amazing brain food. Same with the Axio. That is such amazing brain food. And when we understand that there's little cilia hairs all around our brain, and those are receptors. So we look like this satellite dish, and that we're giving and receiving signals all the time. So that is the brain's doing its function. And the little cilia's inside of our second gut, like in our gut and our second brain, those are little cilia's that are our receptors giving and receiving information. If they cannot give and receive the proper information, why do you think there's so much mental discord? So many people, like I've said, that are on the spiritual train that have been falsely led to believe that you have gut instinct. That is not your intuition. That, if it is not in a perfect balance, is going to send the wrong messages to you. So many of my clients I deal with, especially within the courses I teach, now realize that the reason they chose not to do something was because of their fear. It had nothing to do with their intuition. Your intuition's in your heart, right? Mitochondrial is all about energy, and it works within our heart pathways. And so that's why the NRF1 is such an amazing product. And anyone that is sick with colds, flus, corona, anything that has to do with those same time of symptoms needs oxygen. We need that oxygen and that flow so that we have the proper responses to send the proper signals so that our body knows how to respond. And any of you who have severe stress, exhaustion, any of those things, the moment you start adding activation into your life, and especially the axio, the clarity, the focus, and that sustained energy level is just phenomenal. So, Cary, when, like, I know that you like your whole family is on it, and I know that your daughter had suffered from some mental discords, which there's so many people that do. And it has a lot to do with the metals that we receive from air, from our water, from packaging, from anything we've touched. Our skin is the biggest organ and is absorbing so many things. And to know that where those metals end up laying is around those little cilias of the brain. So the greatest thing that we have some amazing practitioners that have different full facets of different degrees. And I really enjoyed speaking with Dr. Jeffrey Fannin, especially because of his brain mapping and how he sees through brain mapping, how just within 10 to 12 days of someone just being on the NRF2 and Axio, how that brain lit right up. Because in the NRF2 product, the turmeric within it is so great in getting rid of those metal toxins. The DMAE, which is superb, the quercetin, the L-cunine, the CoQ10 enzyme, all of these are for a reason, and they are in a micro dose because we are a cellular level that we're working with, not macro dosing. And the more research that's coming out there now, even with cannabinoid, even with supercilium, all of these things that people are using for activation, the NRF2 pathway is the master pathway. And once that thing is lit up, oh my gosh, it's amazing what's happening. We have Julie on the call as well we see today. Julie, are you able to show yourself?
She might be with babies.
Yeah, maybe she's just listening from the background. We want to say hi to Julie as well. How long has Julie been in the company as well, Cary?
She's been in almost 8 years. She was in a little bit longer than me. She's my upline. She's Jai's daughter. So she's the one that actually started sharing this with Jai, not knowing, if it would help her, but definitely changed her health for the better. So yeah, I think she's probably with babies, but she's got two little ones that go to school sometimes.
Right.
Hey, I wanted to say something really quick about the pathways and the other pathways that people are working on activating, like with the cannabinoid one. Some people are really stuck with just using that pathway, but we have more than one pathway, and they can all work together. Like activate as many as you can. The NRF2, the NRF1. Now with the NAD pathway, the cannabinoid pathway, the gut pathway, like so many pathways that we can work on. I think just the education part of what we can do cellularly and with the activating is the importance. So having an open mind of learning about what our bodies can actually do. It's so crazy that a lot of the people that I talk to, they have no idea that our bodies are able to do this for us, you know?
Exactly. And it's old world mentality because, for instance, I have a client who is now on dialysis, and the dialysis, he does it from home, and there's like 60 boxes that are delivered to his house every month of the sterilized process they have to go through. And it's been like that for a very, very long time. So the more you start to do research and open your mind to realize that the mainstream Western world of what we see as medical indoctrination, because it's really not education, it's indoctrination, was created off this base model and has not grown much in almost 100 years. There are certain little breakthroughs, but oh my God, when you realize, when you step out of that, when you push that aside and you realize that Ayurvedic health, that naturopathic health, that any anything to do, especially acupuncture, working with yogas, tai chis, qigongs, breathing techniques are all pathways that open up pathways and medians within your body. And there's a reason they are tens of thousands of years old. And it's because it works. And when you start incorporating whole, because we are a whole life aspect, you have more of a whole approach. So you become more open to understanding what you want to bring into your tool belt, what works for you, what does not. And knowing that each one of our bodies is so miraculous and so individual that it's learning to peak and perform what works and feels right for you, your body, your age type, your body type, because we all have different body types. Any kind of restrictions that you've had because of any kind of symptoms or accidents or scar tissues or traumas or anything that have happened in your life. And so that's the reason that we are doing these interview processes, because each one of us, and there's millions of us activating now through nutrigenomics, and there's a reason, and we all have different stories because of where we came from and where we are. And some of us just short in our journey, and some like you and Julie who have been in it for a long time, and we don't even consider that a long time. It's not decades, right? But this has just been a decade out there where the whole world is really starting to see it. And how amazing to be living in this lifetime right now, to be able to have this knowledge, especially because we have platforms that we can share it on that normally wouldn't have happened before. So to anyone listening today, Cary, that is not on the activation train yet, what would you like to say for words of wisdom to them?
What I really love is I love, okay, being here in Hawaii. I don't want to have to go and shop for different things. Okay. I love to be able to know that this company has done all of the work for me. There's all this research, which didn't matter to me before, but what mattered to me in the beginning was the health of my daughter. And the path that I was on with the system here wasn't working. And so what I know for 7 years is simple nutrition. It's simple. It comes in the mail every month, and I just continue to stay on and activate my pathways. I have my body working for me. And what I've been learning, in the last couple of days, I've been really diving into how are these activation products so important right now with where we're at? Because I was about to travel to Colorado to be with my daughter. And I changed my mind because I want to stay here in Hawaii where the air is clean and it's warm, for one. And it's not that I want to feel safer. I feel safe because I've been activating for 7 years. But what I want people to know about right now is where we're at with this is the products that we have are activating our bodies to work for themselves. We're making our own antioxidants instead of taking them. We don't have to shop and spend hundreds of dollars on stuff that we don't even know if it's working or if it's filling in the gaps. We're not filling in the gaps anymore. We are turning our body from a flip phone to an iPhone 12. That's the latest thing that I heard, like upgrading, what we've been doing to a better system. We're already putting stuff on our skin. We're already drinking something. We're already using something in our hair. We're already maybe taking supplements. God bless you. Why don't we look at it from a standpoint of one company, one beautiful company that's validated and dipping into our own DNA to take care of us further, and to be trusting in that.
Well,
So,
and I even would say it's beyond that. So I think supplementation is just going to the Tala store or whatever, Rogers, or wherever you go, and looking at your phones and there's all these different types of phones, which are all the different types of supplements and vitamins. We're the drop down screen that comes out of nowhere. That's activation, because every supplement, every vitamin, like we have said, when they've done the studies to back that, you need 150 oranges to eat, you need 83 glasses of red wine, you need 11 pounds of blueberries. And that doesn't activate every cell in your body to create 1 million antioxidants per second every second for 7 days. There is no comparison. You've now died and you have the shits because of the amount of blueberries, and your liver went into you overtaxed your liver on how much red wine you drank, and you ate your stomach out with all the vitamin C. And there's no comparison. And that's the biggest part to this, is when I did the research, because I was spending around $400 a month on supplementation vitamins, and I'm a research junkie, and $90 special green tea, and all these things that were phenomenal, 10,000 mcgs of biotin, for hair health, nail health, you name it, and which is a great thing for carb breakdown, all these things. And nothing. If I forgot one day to not have my smoothie that had all this Richmond in it, I started feeling a cold coming on. So when you do the research, or you hear these amazing scientists talk about why, there is no comparison. You have a beautiful cleaner, and it's cleaning the outside of your cell. That's all it's doing. So there's a little bit of free radical damage that's happening on the outside of your cells, but it's the inside. The moment we had that secret handshake that got inside and said, hi, come on, let's get to work. And bam, we had the process of our cells now kicking back into gear, creating their own 1 million antioxidants per second every second. And the more you activate, every cell ends up involved. And I think that's just the greatest part of this, is knowing there is no comparison to any form of supplementation. I have tons of fitness people that have talked with me and have tried to create an argument, but they've done no research on what microdosing actually is, because they were taught in this brain square that it's all about macro, it's about high dosing and all of this stuff that goes on. That is yesteryear. It is microdosing. Cells are micro in the smallest, minutest amount. And if we can speak about that on any level right now, what is the smallest organisms that are affecting people all around the world right now, that have so many people in fear? It is viruses and bacteria. They're micro. So in order to combat micro, it needs to be micro. It needs to be cellular and atomic, molecularly. And so when we have those activations like the NAD, which is, so the trisynergizer is our NRF2, NRF1, and our NAD. And the NAD pathway opens up the sirtuins. There's 7 sirtuins, which are our aging, which are related to that. And they've realized within these telomeres that oxygen, when oxygen is increased, those telomeres become longer. And guess what happens when they become longer? We become more ageless. So when you understand the impact of what you don't even realize you're doing when you're activating, to find out why it's so important to have oxygen to that brain, why it's so important to activate, why it's important to move the body, because your energy. And like Cary has said, it is allowing all the ways of activation to happen within your body. I know many people on the cannabinoid train, and I don't knock it, but I'm here to tell you the cannabinoid train is not the master pathway. It is a pathway into the cell, but it is not the master pathway. And so clients of mine that I had just try for, depending on what their age was, whether it was 3 months because they're 30, 4 months because they're 40, hands down realized that some of them played with both and got the greatest response. Some of them didn't need the cannabinoid activation anyway because the NRF2 pathway kicked it out of the water. Whereas some people become dependent on some of the cannabinoid use because of the THCs in it. And it's fine. It's not harming you. It's doing yoga instead of Tai Chi because it feels right to you. But learning and trusting that your body knows and it's asking for it. And the fact that you're here listening means you were led here on purpose. Julie had said at one point in a message, incredible. So I'm not sure if she's here right now or not. Julie, are you here?
I am here, but I am driving and I can't have my camera on, but I'm here. I'm loving all of this. It's so amazing. It's incredible what you guys are talking about.
What do you have for words of wisdom to say to anyone that is on the fence or just learning or wants to know more about activation?
You know, it's, gosh, you guys really have nailed it. You've really hit the nail on the head. And I'm as I've, been involved as well, like Cary, about 7.5 years, and how many lives I've seen change over the course of these 7 years has just been, it's been mind blowing. And I think about it a lot because when I started, I was never really a big believer in supplementation. Like you said, you just cannot consume enough supplements to really make a difference. And like Cary's story, when Cary was speaking of Jai is actually my mom. So when I, got started with this idea of activation, I didn't understand the magnitude
Uh-oh, we lost you, Julie.
Uh-oh, am I not here anymore?
There you go. You're
Oh, that's weird. My mom was in a very dark place in her life, and she was struggling with her health, and there was many things going on with her, and she was on different medications, and she literally, like, if you opened up her shelf where she kept her supplements and the things that she was taking, it was full to the brim, overflowing with different things that she was told to take, that the doctor told her to take, and nothing was working. Nothing was really working. And so when I got this in my hands, she was the first person that I wanted to give it to, and I got to witness basically a miracle. I got to see her life completely transform in the matter of months, 3-4 months. And the light, just like Hannah, Cary's daughter, the light turned back on in my mom, and she just started to progress into the woman that she was, that I knew growing up. And it was such a miracle to me to see. Of course you think, oh, maybe it's a coincidence, but then you're like, okay, let's share it with one more person and see what happens. And it's the same thing. Everybody needs to be activated. I love what you said, Tracy. You said as long as you need oxygen, you need to be activated. And that's the truth. It's not just your normal supplementation. This is helping our body create what it needs to create to be the healthiest we can be. And that's what I have absolutely fallen in love with, is just seeing how many people's lives have changed because they get activated, because they're helping their own body. The magical, the miracle is our bodies. And when you can help it create and make what it needs to make to be our healthiest, then that is, that's the game changer for me. And so I'm on board with everything you guys have been sharing. I'm so glad that I was able to hop on, even though I'm driving. I just wanted to hop on and listen. And it's pure truth. If you're on the fence and wondering whether you should get on these products, I can tell you that there's not a shadow of a doubt in my mind that every human being should be on these products because of what I've seen them do to everyone that I know. It's just incredible. So thanks for letting me hop on. And sorry, I can't have my camera on. I don't like to do it when I'm driving, but this has been a great interview.
Awesome. Thank you, Julie. And almost every interview that I do with people, the majority of us all are thinking of someone else when we first hear about these products, because most of us are service to others, and that is living from the heart. And I know with myself, when I first started in my activation journey, it was because I was in the place of needing repair. And then from there, I didn't even think about myself. I knew, because I know I'm awesome. I will always rebound from whatever. But it instantly was, oh, the people you're thinking of that are in your life that could use this, that you want to see be here for a long time and actually be living instead of just existing. And then it became part of my practice as a practitioner of being able to actually, especially now, because I'm here to tell you the amount of suicides and suicidal thoughts, and or people who are dealing from grief from people who've committed suicide in this horrible time of what's going on has been a major game changer, because the moment that I'm able to get people onto these products, especially the Axio, their fleeting thoughts of despair that start to change with the pre-bio starting to get that gut health back, that is starting to talk properly and send more of an easy message, a clarity message, a more focused and a calmer message to the brain. So the brain then has its response within the reptilian part of the brain, where we're in this fight, flight, freeze all the time. And what I've noticed with many of my clients that are now on the products is they've started to open up into intuitively looking at things and critically thinking now. And so the moment we give our bodies the activation, our bodies know exactly what to do and starts being able to correspond. So one of the things that I've told many people is our society has been really good at dumbing people down and mind controlling them through television, through radio, through propaganda, to only be told what to do. And they've forgotten the two other aspects of how we take in information and bring it in. And the first one is intuitively, that we intuitively will feel something. The second is when we have stuff that's presented to us that we take from what we do. And the third one is critically thinking. And when those were put all to the side, we have people that are just being told what to do. And if it's not on mainstream media, it's not true. And this is how they've been able to keep so many of the masses asleep, keep them pharmaceuticalized, full of toxins, full of so many other symptoms, because it makes them amazing amounts of money. And as soon as you get people that start going inside and starting to feel and knowing this doesn't feel right, I want something, because I know I'm real, I need something real. That's why this product line is top notch, because the scientists knew in order to be able to, on a micro frequency, be able to get into our cell, it had to be natural. It had to be all natural. It had to come from the earth, because we're from the earth. And that is plain and simply what brought me into doing more of going down the rabbit hole, because we don't want to be FDA approved, because we're not a drug. We don't want to be a drug. We don't want toxins. We don't want side effects. We want happy effects. We want our bodies to upscale back on with these nootropics. And so for many people, it's all these new words that you're hearing: nutraceuticals, biohacking, nootropics. But go on Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever platform you're using, research them and realize that there's a reason there's so many studies on PubMed.gov. PubMed.gov is where many practitioners go to look at research papers, all of that. But I know most of the people I talk to, they've been taught not to think for themselves. They just want to be told what to do. So if you are those people, if they trust you and you've done the research, how are you not helping them by helping themselves, by getting them activating? And so I love that whenever I have an opening that is presented, I'll present it. And a lot of people that have met me will say, what are you doing? You have such a glow. Like you believe in life so much, or do you do drugs? Do you do this? Do you do that? And it's like, absolutely. I don't drink. I don't do drugs. I don't do any of that because I don't need it. I'm amazing just by myself. I don't need anything outside of myself. And when you're activating, it starts to really happen for you. I have so many clients that are activators now that realize the addictions they had, they stopped having as well, because they stopped looking outside of themselves. They realized the light came on inside, every cell lit right up, and they realized they're whole. They realized they didn't need anything outside of them. They didn't need to escape. They didn't need to escape anymore. Cary, for all of your clients that are activating, what would you like to say to them today?
First of all, I just feel like a bobblehead because I've just been yesing the whole way. You know, a lot of the people that come here, I'm a connector. I connect with people, I ask questions. They know my main focus for them is to get on the products. What we do from there is whatever happens from there. This has a business attached to it, obviously, as well. But my focus is for people to get activated and to make sure that they are, having their bodies work for themselves. So the clients that we have, they know this is a community. Some people are looking for community, some are not. This is a community where we help each other. It's not just getting you on the products. Thank you, you're on my products, bye. No way. Like, I am here. I like to make sure that people are feeling good. Of course, they're going to feel good, but making sure that you're taking the products and you're drinking your Axio. It's just like a reminder system for me because I want people to stay on the activation train, and I realize that, like you said, some people are so programmed that they're programmed in their old ways. And so for me, like, I keep with my clients and make sure that they stay on this for at least the 30 days so that they create a habit. It's a habit, And what I also wanted to say really quick about, from the beginning, when we started with one bottle, a lot of people didn't feel the one bottle, the one pill. We have a whole line of nutrigenomics now where we're working on all of our pathways and people feel it. And people's lives have been changed. Some of them in dramatic ways, hugely, some of them just a little bit, some of them just with their skin, whatnot, their hair. I'm grateful for all of my clients, everybody that's here with me in this company and the community, and just trusts that what we're sharing with them is true. It's all true. And it's up to you.
Well, and isn't that the word? I think the biggest word nowadays is trust. And I'm not going to lie, the MLM, when people hear MLM, they instantly put their back up because they think of Amway. They think of all these original MLM places, and it's just a platform. And the reason that that LifeVantage went on to this marketing platform, it's not because we want you to become reps with us. If you want to, absolutely. There's a reason many of us became reps to this, and I do not put my name behind anything that's full of shit, because if it looks like shit and smells like shit, it is shit. And there's so many people out there that are entrepreneurs that are trying to create products that don't have backed studies, that don't have patents, that don't have this, don't have that. Good for you. I believe everyone has the right to have freedom of choice. But the biggest thing that happened out in the marketing world was deceit and deception. And it is all in this consciousness now. It is about being real, raw, and authentic. And that is why Activated and Loving Life is taking the platforms of interviewing real people and hearing their stories, because your story's not lying. And everyone within you has seen where you were and where you are now. And that's what this is about. This is about, these products have so much backing that it puts a lot of people to sleep because they can't handle the amount of proof that they have. And we have been in a society where people have trust issues. They don't know who to trust anymore because media is constantly lying to you. Marketing's constantly lying to you. I use, the greasy hair car salesman tactic that most people know, that as soon as you go onto a lot and they're slithering all over you and they're trying to upsell you and put you into these things instead of just listening to you. And the greatest thing that I've heard from many of my clients, from other people's clients, is they don't feel pressured, and they feel that they're not alone, because there's always one of us here to check in and make sure everything's going right for you. And if it's not, if we don't know, we go into the company to ask some of the amazing practitioners in here their little 2 cents in it, or anyone, and it's a community effort. And so within what I do for a line of work, with all that I do, teaching people to live whole on purpose, this is part of that, is the activation part of it, but it's not all of it. You need to mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically be living whole on purpose. And the greatest thing to understand is every part of you knows you are whole, complete, and perfect other than the mind. The moment the mind realizes that being broken is just the illusion, it completely changes. So the moment that you are activating every cell in your body and you are lighting it up, guess what's happening? It's becoming the whole essence of you, not the broken pieces and parts or the hidden pieces that you were trying to hide of you. And so to activate and keep activating, you're just going to notice more and it's going to become normal to you. And so again, like we have said in many of the interviews that we've talked to, is some of the people that decided, oh, I'm going to go off it, and then realized, oh my God, I had no idea what normal became to me. I thought I wasn't feeling anything anymore. But it's because you're revving up here now, and this is normal to you, where you were down here before. So the moment you drop off, and it takes at least 7 days, because these products stay within, especially the Nerf 2, for 7 days when you've been activating. And all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh. And then it takes a month or two to get it to come back again, because you've dropped that activation. So the easiest thing to understand, if this is reducing oxidative stress every day when you're taking it and you stop taking it, how fast does that 40% come back in 30 days? Right? So now you're full oxidation coming back again. So you've got that full rust coming back in. So once you activate again, you get to have that start to come away. And so do what you feel is right. But I'm here to tell you, I breathe oxygen my whole life. Until we have the perfect anti-aging effect, I'm doing everything in my life to live whole on purpose, to live young, healthy, happy, and vibrantly on purpose. And that's what activation is all about.
Freaking fabulous. So great. I love it. Wow.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want that? Doesn't that sound so good? Like, my goodness.
Yeah. Whenever my grandson comes for a sleepover, because he sees my husband and I taking our regiment of what we take in the day, and he's like, Nana, I need mine too. Don't forget about me. Right. And I'll share, it was probably the sweetest heartfelt moment that I had with him. And because as a child, they start being told that when you're old, you die. And so his mom was wonderful. She sat down with him because I was going to be celebrating my 50th birthday. And he heard 50 and just thought, oh my God, Grandma, Nana, you're going to die. I can't not have you in my life. And I said he said, but Mommy sat me down and told me that people could die at any time, that age has nothing to do with it. And I said, you're right. And so he grabbed me by the face and he said, Nana, I want you to live to be 100 and look like you do right now. And I said, I absolutely want to too. I said, so that's our role. That's what we'll do. And it was so sweet to hear this little boy who's 8 that, right. And it makes you understand what is one of your reasons for living, right? And it's not just for you. It's not just for your husband or for your children, but think of your grandchildren as well. And I can run and jump and play and do anything. And my daughters had gotten me a beautiful photo session with my grandbabies for my 50th. And so the girl that came to do our photos had said to my daughter after, she said, I'm so jealous of your mom. And she said, why? And she said, my mom has severe knee issues. She has absolutely zero energy. She doesn't even get up off the couch much. And she said, I was watching your mom play in the leaves with your grandbabies like she's 20. And they said, my mom's always believed in life. She's active. And she had said, well, I want to know how to get my mom to start doing that. And so that became an avenue where we started talking. And you don't even realize the impact you have on people's life just by living and being you on purpose. And so when you activate and you have an easier way of living, why wouldn't you? You have nothing to lose.
Telling you, it's so good. And I know, I want to just say one thing is, like, one of your clients that you had taken the products for a year decided to become a rep and has now moved to the next level, like on her own. I was speaking with her, like, what made you decide? And she's like, I gotta start sharing this with my inner circle, because like of the things that she went through, And she took a little bit of time. Like, she wanted to make sure that this is something that she was feeling. She's young, you know, and then was ready to share it with her friends and family. So I love that too. Like, we just, you know, it's just like activate yourself and then go from there, you know.
Well, and she was, the reason she started activating was really, it was hilarious. So her husband, we kind of adopted and is like a son to us. And so we took him in and helped him help himself, because that's what we believe in doing. So he's a son to me. And they were at my oldest daughter's wedding. We were all there. And of course, because I was mother of the bride and I had their youngest little boy at the time, he was only 2.5. And so busy, 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 and you don't get to see them very much, but they had both seen Chris and I. And so the next day they called and, and the message was, "What the F are you doing? We see you and you look younger and younger every time. So what the F are you doing?" And I started laughing right away. And so we told them, like, we activate. And because we don't get to see them all the time, because they live about 2 hours from us. And so that is where she started asking questions from. And that's all it takes. You can't lie. You can't have a poker face when you feel great. You can't, right? Your whole outside shows when inside outside you're feeling great. And that's right. That's proof in the pudding. So
Love it. Thank you so much for doing this. And I would love to give a little, you know, list of some people that we'll chat with you about that, but some people that we can bring on here as well. Julie, there she is. She's been doing this wonderful thing where we started doing Thankful Thursdays or Wednesday Heart to Hearts, where we get on and we do, you know, kind of the similar thing of just other people talking about how their lives have been changed. It's been phenomenal. Anyhow, hi, Julie.
Hi, ladies. I just got home, so I thought I'd pop on and say hello. Such a great call. So much good info. Tracy, I love hearing you talk about these products. It's so nice to hear you, you know, your wisdom and your knowledge. And yeah, it's just such a, you know, it really is truly such a gift that we have. And that is the thing. And I love what you said, you know, about not having to feel like a salesperson, and that this industry does get a really bad rap for that reason. But you know, when you have something that's truly so unique and so different and so real and powerful, the difference that you can make in someone's life just by sharing is it's just really become a motivation to me to help people. And I absolutely love that about what we have the opportunity to do, is when you taste that sense of significance that you've made a difference in someone's life from a health standpoint, there's nothing like it. And we're truly so blessed to be able to do this together and learn together and be as healthy as we can together. And yeah, I'm just grateful that I hopped on and was able to hear you and Cary share today. So thanks for having me.
thank you. And it's remembering, everyone out there that's listening, you don't have to be a practitioner. You don't have to know anything other than how it's working on you. You are the story that's selling it. And one of the coolest things that I teach within some of my awesome stuff that I do is to understand that we have personality cards, and there are 4 personality cards that we all share in every human experience. One is the saboteur, one is the victim, one is the prostitute, and then there are about 6 different types of inner child that we will play in and out of depending on where we are in our life and what we've worked through or had happen to us and so on. There's a shadow aspect, there's a light aspect to those 4. And one of the biggest ones that I say to many people is every one of us is a prostitute. We are selling ourselves every day. And you are either from the shadow aspect doing it from a place of desperation, or you're doing it with your moral compass and with integrity. And the greatest thing I can say to anyone out there is it doesn't matter where you are, you're there on purpose, because there's a divine plan in everything. And when you show up on purpose with your integrity intact, people feel that beyond reach. And when you show up in a place of desperation, people feel that beyond reach. So who do you want to be? We're prostitutes no matter what. It's no different than the victim. within the victim, we are either the victor or the victim, people feeling sorry for themselves. We cannot help anyone who does not want to help themselves. And that's probably the hardest part for any of us who are service to others when we're first understanding sympathy to empathy. Sympathy is when you feel sorry for them. So now you fell down the well with them and you can't help them. Empathy is when you can have that compassion, but you become that compassion in action, which is love, and you're offering to help them out. And that is what the walking of the victor is compared to the victim. The society has made people want to feel sorry for themselves because and if you've noticed how many people want to be on the bandwagon to say they have something mentally wrong with them. They want to be diagnosed. They want something wrong with them because they want to fit in, because they're alone and feeling lonely and scared. So when you can be that beautiful gift that you are, that is helping someone to help themselves, and for them to realize they have to be accountable, they have to be responsible. That's just part of the power of who we are. But you can be there to help them at all times, to be that extra little reach, to give them that guidance. Oh my gosh, it's just the most amazing feeling. And you go to sleep feeling so good. And it doesn't matter what you think you need to do for a living. Just being you is all that you need to do. Yeah.
Amen, sister. Thank you for joining this journey with us. Like, I think when you took that pill and you had the handshake, you couldn't help yourself but jump on. How can you get off of that, you know? And I love how Jillian, you did an interview with her, and she called me one day and she's like, oh my gosh, I got to tell you this story, you know, of how she got off the products and she got right back on because everything started to unfold again, you know?
Yeah, because we're just going to keep breathing air. As long as we are human, breathing oxygen, every mammal is creating oxidative stress. And it's sad that we live in an environment that we actually can't handle the oxygen that we breathe. You know, it's like a paradox that we live in. And so whatever we can do to counteract that, why wouldn't you? Life's too short. Make it sweet. That's what I have to say to everyone. So it's time for us to go. I want to thank you very much, Julie, to get to see you again as well. And Cary, and yes, I am excited when travel starts to happen again, and hopefully we'll get to meet up. And yeah, go for it. Right? Go for it. You have nothing to lose. Thank you all for listening. And if you want to find out more, I will have in the comments below my email, my text, or the site for you to take a look on. Thank you again. We love you all, and activate.
Activate. Bye, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha. Be safe.